In the depths of the Sapphire Sea, a young mermaid named Coral lived in a peaceful cove. She had long, flowing aqua hair and a tail that shimmered with the colors of the ocean. Coral's heart ached with longing for adventure, and she often dreamed of exploring the farthest reaches of the ocean, where no mermaid had ever dared to go. One day, the wise elders of the mermaid kingdom gathered the young mermaids. They warned them never to venture into the dark abyss, a dangerous region of the sea where the most fearsome creatures live. The most feared of all was the evil shark, Korrak, who ruled over the abyss with an iron fin. He was known for his cruelty and his hunger for power. Despite the elders' warnings, Coral's curiosity got the better of her. She couldn't resist the pull of adventure. One quiet evening, when the moonlight barely reached the ocean's surface, she decided to set out on her own and explore the forbidden region. She swam past the safety of the reefs and into the mysterious depths of the abyss. As Coral ventured deeper, the water grew colder, and the light faded into darkness. Suddenly, she felt a chilling presence behind her. It was Korrak, the evil shark. His eyes glowed with malice, and his enormous body glided through the water with silent menace. Coral froze, her heart pounding in her chest. Korrak circled Coral slowly, his sharp teeth glinting in the faint light. Instead of attacking, he spoke in a deep, gravelly voice. "You've ventured far from home, little mermaid, but I can give you what you seek: great power and knowledge of the ocean. All you must do is pledge your loyalty to me." Fear gripped Coral, but her thirst for adventure and knowledge was overwhelming. She hesitated, torn between the safety of her home and the dark temptation of power. In a moment of weakness, she agreed to Korrak's deal, unaware of the full extent of the evil she was aligning herself with. With a wicked grin, Korrak touched Coral's hand, and a dark mark appeared on her wrist. "You are now bound to me," he hissed. The ocean around her seemed to grow heavier. As if a shadow had fallen over her spirit, Korrak vanished into the depths, leaving Coral alone and confused, unsure of what she had just done. When Coral returned to her cove, strange things began to happen. The once bright coral reefs dulled in color, and the vibrant fish grew fearful. A heavy darkness seemed to follow Coral wherever she went. The other mermaids sensed it too, and they began to avoid her, whispering of a curse that had fallen upon her. Desperate to break free from the darkness and regain her freedom, Coral sought out the ancient sea witch, Maris. Maris lived far beyond the kelp forests. In a hidden cave, she was known for her wisdom and her ability to undo powerful magic. Coral hoped Maris could help her sever the bond with Korrak. Maris listened carefully as Coral recounted her tale. The sea witch frowned and said, "The bond you share with Korrak is not easily broken. His power grows stronger with your fear and doubt. You must face him in the abyss and reclaim your light. Only then will the curse be lifted." Deep in the heart of the ocean, where sunlight dances on the water's surface, lived the mermaids of the Coral Kingdom. The kingdom was a breathtaking paradise filled with glowing reefs, schools of vibrant fish, and ancient sea creatures that had existed for millennia. It was here that a young and curious mermaid named Ailani was born. Ailani wasn't like the other mermaids. While her friends were content with exploring the nearby gardens of coral and playing in the underwater groves, Ailani always felt the tug of the unknown. Her heart longed for the surface, a world she had only heard about in stories. She would often sit at the edge of the underwater cliffs, gazing up at the shimmering sunlight above, wondering what it would be like to see the stars, to feel the wind, or to meet the mysterious beings called humans. Her best friend, Kaya, would always warn her, "Ailani, you know the rules. The Sea King, your father, has forbidden any of us from going near the surface. The humans are dangerous, and we're safest here, in our kingdom." Ailani sighed, "But what if the stories are wrong? What if there's more to their world than danger? I just want to see it with my own eyes." Ailani's father, King Atlan, was the ruler of the Coral Kingdom and all the surrounding seas. He was a wise and just king, but he had grown wary of humans after centuries of conflict. His people told stories of sailors who hunted mermaids for their scales and of fishermen who carelessly destroyed their homes with their nets. Atlan's wife, Ailani's mother, had been captured by humans long ago when Ailani was just a child. She had never returned. From that day on, Atlan forbade anyone from venturing too close to the surface, fearing the same fate might befall others. Ailani understood her father's pain, but she couldn't let go of her dreams. Deep down, she believed there was more to the human world than cruelty and destruction. Maybe, just maybe, there was kindness too. One night, as the full moon illuminated the ocean in a silver glow, Ailani decided she could no longer wait. She had to see the world above the waves. Quietly, she swam past the sleeping guards, through the shimmering reefs, and up toward the surface. Her heart raced as she broke through the water and took her first breath of air. The night sky above was unlike anything she had ever seen. An endless sea of stars stretched across the sky, and the moon hung like a glowing pearl. The gentle breeze played with her hair. For the first time, she felt the cool air on her skin, but as she gazed in wonder, something caught her eye: a large ship in the distance. It was unlike anything she had imagined, with massive sails and lights glowing from its windows. Humans, she swam closer, her curiosity pulling her toward the ship. On board the ship was Prince Luca, a young and adventurous prince who loved the sea as much as Ailani did. He wasn't like other royals who stayed within the safety of their castles. He longed for the open ocean and spent most of his time at sea, learning the ways of sailors and exploring distant lands. That night, Luca stood at the bow of the ship, watching the moonlit waves with a sense of peace. But suddenly, a storm began to brew in the distance. Dark clouds rolled in, and the wind picked up speed. Luca called out to his crew, ordering them to prepare for the storm, but the sea was merciless. Waves crashed against the ship, and lightning lit up the sky. The ship was tossed like a toy in the hands of the angry ocean, and Luca was thrown overboard into the raging sea. Ailani watched in horror as the storm overtook the ship, and she saw Luca fall into the water. Without hesitation, she dove beneath the surface, searching through the darkness for him. The waves were fierce, but Ailani's strong tail allowed her to swim against the current.
Finn was a small, bright blue fish with a heart full of curiosity. He lived in the peaceful waters of a coral reef, surrounded by colorful sea creatures. While most fish were content with their simple lives, Finn often gazed beyond the coral, dreaming of what lay in the deep, mysterious waters of the open sea. One day, after much thought, Finn decided to explore beyond the reef, despite his friends' warnings. He was determined to see the world for himself, even if it meant swimming into the unknown. Finn swam farther than he ever had before. As the coral reef faded behind him, he entered the great blue, the vast open ocean. It was a world unlike anything he had imagined. Deep, dark waters stretched endlessly, with strange currents swirling around him. Though a bit scared, Finn's curiosity drove him forward. Suddenly, a large shadow passed overhead. He looked up to see a giant whale, gracefully moving through the water. Awestruck, Finn followed the whale for hours. As Finn swam through the open sea, he bumped into a lively, pink fish named Coral, who was playfully darting in and out of seaweed. Coral was an explorer too, and she was happy to have a new companion. "Where are you headed, Finn?" she asked with a bright smile. "I'm not sure," Finn replied. "I just want to see more of the world." Coral laughed. "Well, you've come to the right place. The sea is full of wonders, but you've got to be careful. Not all creatures are as friendly as I am." Together, they decided to swim deeper into the ocean to discover the secrets hidden below. While exploring, Finn and Coral came across a dark, eerie shipwreck resting on the ocean floor. The wooden beams of the ancient ship were covered in seaweed and barnacles, and its sails were tattered and torn. Despite the spooky appearance, Finn felt drawn to it. "Should we explore it?" Finn asked. Coral hesitated. "I don't know, Finn. It looks dangerous." But Finn's curiosity got the better of him. With a flick of his tail, he swam inside the wreck. Coral reluctantly followed. Inside, they found chests filled with strange objects, shiny metal pieces, and forgotten treasures from the human world. As they explored the shipwreck, a deep, rumbling voice startled them. "Who dares enter my domain?" Finn and Coral turned to see a large, ancient octopus, its massive tentacles wrapped around the ship's remains. Its eyes gleamed with intelligence as it watched them. "We're just exploring," Finn stammered, unsure of what to say. The octopus, named Olaf, chuckled. "Many have come here to seek treasure, but they find more than they bargained for. This ship has secrets, dark ones. I guard it to protect the ocean from those who would use its power."